What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. Before we get into anything today, I want to let you know that I will be live tonight, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time to watch the finale against the Detroit Tigers with you guys. If you haven't been to one yet, they are a ton of fun and I highly suggest you do it. If you have been, I'm excited to see you guys back. Again, that is Wednesday tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Anyway, speaking of the Tigers, the Red Sox officially won the series against the Tigers last night, putting them at 6 series wins in a row. Pretty safe to say they're playing good baseball right now. But as June comes to an end, July becomes the most important month of this Red Sox season. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about why July is such an important month and how this month could make or break this Red Sox team. But before I get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys are hitting the like button on these videos. It helps out a ton. And if you enjoy this video, make sure you share it with a friend. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. So before I throw you guys into the fire, let's start off nice and easy. We're just going to look at the next week, the end of June, because the next week is a pretty pressure-packed week. After you finish up this series with Detroit, which again, I will be live for tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, we go on to face Cleveland, who might not seem like the most fearsome foe, but they've been playing great baseball lately. They have won the exact same amount of series in a row that the Red Sox have. They're only a half game back of the wild card standing, and the end of this series could determine whether or not you're in a playoff spot or not at the end of the series. And then right after that, boom, you're going to Toronto. And Toronto, you're playing 3-game series, and this is an important series, not only because you got embarrassed there last time and it's time for redemption, but because you're also losing Tanner Houck, who has developed into your closer these last couple of weeks. So that is also going to be a tough series. So to end out June, you are playing Toronto Blue Jays, who you're only a half game back of in the standings. So by the end of that series, depending on how Cleveland goes, you could be in second place of the AL East. You're also playing the Guardians, who again is only half game behind you in the wild card standing and could overtake that spot if you don't do well in that. So the end of June is pressure packed enough. Let's talk about July. To start off July, you're easing into it, right? You're going to Wrigley, you're going to play the Cubs for a couple of games. The Cubs aren't doing really well this year. They're 23-45, not exactly lighting the world on fire by any means, but it's important that you guys take this series because after that, the gauntlet starts. For the next 14 days, you are at home playing the Tampa Bay Rays in 3 games, the New York Yankees in 4 games, then you're straight down to Tampa for 4 games, and you're back to New York for 3. In 14 days, you are playing 14 games against division rivals. And obviously the Yankees and the Red Sox rivalry runs deep, but the Tampa Bay Rays have also been a bit of a rivalry with the Red Sox since 2018. That's a really tough stretch of time to go through. 14 days against 14 division opponents seems like it really could make or break this season. If you do terribly against both of these teams in 14 games, you could drop out of the playoff race altogether. But it doesn't end there, because after that, you get a quick little breather. You get the All-Star game, so you're off for 4 days. Hopefully Rafi's in there hitting bombs and Xander Bogaerts get the recognition he deserves over Bo Bichette of all people. And then it's right back to the gauntlet. You play Toronto to end the month, you play the Guardians for 4 games to end the month, you play the Brewers to actually end the month. And all of those games are going to have significant importance regardless of how you do against Tampa and New York, because by the end of the month, you could really determine where you're at in this league in terms of playoff contention. And in my opinion, there's 3 scenarios that could happen. The first is that the Red Sox continue to play the way that they're playing. They win most of these games, they win most of these series, and they end up in second place of the AL East in a secure wild card spot, at least for now, and they really cement themselves as a legitimate playoff contender, a top 10 team in this league. The second scenario is that they kind of split the bag a little bit, right? They go 500, maybe a little bit below 500. You drop out of a playoff spot, but you're still 2 games behind in a wild card spot, so you're in the mix. Maybe you drop down to 4th place again, but again, you're a half game behind the 3rd place team. That's not the worst case scenario either. The worst case scenario is that the Red Sox go into this series and revert back to April, where they go 10-17 or something like that, and they lose a ton of games and put themselves 4, 5, 6 games back of a wild card spot, 4, 5, 6 games back of the 3rd position in the AL East. They show to everybody that they don't really have what it takes to compete with the AL East teams, and that is a terrifying thought. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a terrifying thought. Either way, if you're a Red Sox fan, a die-hard Red Sox fan, I would suggest making a doctor's appointment for August 1st because you are for sure going to need your blood pressure checked by the end of this month. Because the pressure doesn't stop there. There's added pressure on this team with people coming back from injuries. And the specific guy I want to talk about is Chris Sale, who's scheduled to come back in July. Again, 3 scenarios for Chris Sale here. You could either get the ace caliber Chris Sale that we've seen in the past. You could get the middle of the pack Chris Sale that we saw a little bit towards the end before he had Tommy John, or we could get below average Chris Sale, which we saw when he came back. And before you guys tear Chris Sale apart in the comment section, because you normally do, I just want to say that this injury is much different than Tommy John. With Tommy John, you basically have to relearn how to throw and trust your arm again, and that can lead to a lot of issues with pitch grips and stuff like that. And this year, from everything that I have heard regarding Chris Sale's injury, he looks fantastic. His changeup and his slider look way better than they did last year, which was really his downfall last year. So I'm hoping and I think that he will at least be average middle of the pack, if not that ace caliber Chris Sale that we saw before. But either way, that's going to put pressure on this team. We in the Red Sox have relied a lot on this return of Chris Sale for bolstering the rotation, giving some breaks to the bullpen, and whether or not that happens is going to have a big determining factor on whether or not the Red Sox can compete in this league. And if you think that the pressure stops there, you're wrong, because there is more. Trade deadline for the MLB is August 2nd, just 2 days after this gauntlet of games, this pressure baseball ends. And last year, between July 15th and July 30th, 159 players were dealt. 159 players were traded between July 15th and July 30th. There is a very real possibility that by the end of July, we have an idea of what Chaim Bloom and the front office think of this team. Because again, it's all in terms of 3 today. We've got 3 scenarios for Chaim Bloom and the front office too. The first scenario is that the Red Sox front office and Chaim Bloom truly believe that this team is a championship caliber team. They go out, they get the proper bullpen arms that we've been really missing. Maybe they bolster some of these positions that could use bolstering, like first base, and they go and they say, hey, we believe in you guys. These are the pieces that we think can get you there. Go out and get that ring. The second one is that they might not fully believe in this team winning a championship, so they make very minimal moves, maybe to put themselves in a better position in years future, and they sort of just let this team ride, right? And that wouldn't be worst case scenario, not exactly what I think any of us want, and definitely wouldn't look good on Chaim Bloom, but again, not worst case scenario, because worst case scenario is that Chaim Bloom and the front office believe that this team doesn't really have what it takes to go all the way this year. They don't know how these players are going to act in free agency, so let's blow it all up. Let's get rid of all the free agents, loan them out to teams who they think have a legitimate shot at the playoffs, and let's see what we can get back. And that is a terrifying thought. All in all, I think the Red Sox are under the most pressure this month than they will be in the entire year. The question is with the Red Sox this month is whether they rise above the pressure and perform the way we know they can perform, or they sink below it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. My opinion is that they will rise above it. And that's not just blind loyalty. That's not just me being a homer because this is a Red Sox channel and Red Sox doing well would do well for my channel. No, this is because it's backed by statistics. Right now, the Red Sox have the highest batting average in all of baseball. They have the best offense in the AL statistically through the month of June. They have the second best run differential in all of the AL East. They have the third best in all of the AL. And on top of that, their pitching staff is top 10 in ERA this year. Those are statistics that sound like a championship team to me. I don't know about you guys, so let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this gauntlet style play in July? How do you think this is going to affect the Red Sox? Do you think they do well? Do you think they not do well? What are your thoughts on this month in general? Let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, if you've made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Like I said in the beginning, make sure you've hit that subscribe button. You made it to the end of this video, you clearly enjoy the content, you might as well subscribe. Also, make sure you guys have liked this video, because again, you made it to the end of this video, you might as well like it. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys share it with a friend who loves baseball or the Red Sox as much as you do. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you 1 tonight in the live stream and 2 in the red seats.